So when I talk to these dudes like, oh, but it's, you know what, Tate, yeah, I agree, but you know, it's hard. Of course it is, it's supposed to be. There is no light without dark. And if you're not cut out for it, then live a normal existence and die. That's how the world works. In a video game, you're gonna go through trial and tribulation. You're gonna struggle to upgrade your character. And the reason you upgrade your character is when you get more stats, you can complete more difficult levels within the game. Life is exactly the same. The levels never end, but as you become better, you stand a better chance of completing them. So as you upgrade your character, you get further and further in the game, but the game never ends. That's the beauty of being a man. All these men are out here complaining that things are difficult. The reason it has value is because it's difficult. If it was easy, everyone would have it and it wouldn't have any value. Complain that it's hard to get a Lambo. The reason having a Lambo is cool is because nobody has a Lambo. The fact that it's difficult, the fact that it's hard to do is the reason it has a value in the first place. How are you going to complain that it's hard to be the man, but then also understand that being the man has value? They are linked. You cannot separate the two. It's a logic fail. If you love the fact, if you love the idea of being that character you dream of yourself to be, then you should love the fact it's hard to become that man, because it means no one else can do it. This is what I love. I love everything about my life. I know that I've been through to become who I am, and I wouldn't trade a second of it, because there's also this massive juxtaposition which is so important for masculine happiness and contentment. I'll tell you the coolest thing about being rich. The coolest thing about being rich is remember when I was broke. That's all it is. Having money in and of itself really isn't that interesting.
No, it's not.
You buy the house, you buy the car, you buy the watches, you buy some clothes, blah, blah. It's boring. It's only cool to sit there with my brother in a Nurse restaurant with Salt Bae being an idiot, spending 15 G's and saying, do you remember when we didn't have a penny? 15 grand for dinner? We never had 15 grand in our savings account in our lives.
Bam.
Do you remember that time we were living off those 10p packs of noodles for 2 weeks? Do you remember? You need this juxtaposition. There is no light without dark. You will not appreciate your six pack unless you didn't have one and you had to earn it. That's how the world works. So when I talk to these dudes like, oh, but it's, you know what, Tate, yeah, I agree, but you know, it's hard. Of course it is, it's supposed to be. And if you're not cut out for it, then live a normal existence and die. If that's what you want to do, is just sit there and exist and then fade into history unremembered, that's your decision. If you want to level up your character, then you need to get out here and do it. You need to be around brave men. You need to get some balls. You need to get your network together. You need to be paying attention to things like the Fresh and Fit podcast. Listen to the truth. Humble yourself. Stop sitting there with an ego. Realize you ain't. And any single one of you men out here can do the same thing. The world has always been about respect. As a man, you need to be respected. And you're only going to be respected if you do things that people respect. And most of the time, those things are on the other side of fear. The real problem with the world is that there's an epidemic of cowardice. Men are cowards. We have an epidemic of cowardice. Everybody is afraid. It's on the other side of fear that you're going to garner the respect of other individuals. You have to do things that they're afraid to do, meaning most likely you are also afraid. I've done a bunch. I was afraid 87 times before I got in the ring and cage. It's scary, right? I lived a scary life. But by going through all of that, I am now respected. You have to learn to face your fear. I'm not saying not be afraid, because that's not brave. If you do something and you're not afraid, you're not brave. You have to be afraid and do it anyway. That's what courage is. So I'm not saying you can be as scared as you want, but you still have to go. This also ties into why you need to create your reality. I'll give you an example, man. Everybody around me is brave. I don't hang around with cowards. You have to understand that I've created my reality to the point now where I can only make the bravest decision because everybody I speak to is brave. There's no in my realm. I'm rich enough that everybody I correlate my existence with, everybody I conversate with, is saying do the brave thing. There's literally no realm for being a coward. So how can I be the only coward in my peer group? Am I gonna be the only amongst all the men I talk to? No. They say you're some of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So even if you're sitting here right now and you know you're a little, why are you not hanging around with brave men? Because there's a magical power amongst men. And it's a magical power which has been forgotten and lost. When you put enough men in the same room, there's a transference of energy that makes us feel invincible. Because what used to happen evolutionarily is when large groups of men got together, you charged at the enemy. That's what you did. You ran at the spears. Even in World War I, World War II, they ran at machine guns screaming. over the trenches. When men get together, there's a magical force that makes us feel brave, makes us feel powerful. So you should be around other men that make you feel that way. There ain't a life who can drag me down. You can't make me sad. I'm with my team. You need to create your reality. You don't even need to be brave enough to become brave by yourself. You need to be around men who are already brave. And you need to have enough self-respect. But this is the truth of the world we live in now. We live in a world full of cowardice. It's cowardice, right? And that's what most of these people are missing. Because if you're truly brave, you'll have results in and of itself, but you'll also have all the motivation you need to upgrade your character to then have fantastic results. I don't want to plug too hard, but inside the War Room, this is what we teach. The War Room is the only organization in the world in which we kick out members every single month. Every other membership club, every other group you can join, you can pay your money, you can sit around and pretend you're getting progress, right? It's like signing up to a gym. They'll take your membership even if you never go.
Facts.
Not the War Room. And you'll learn inside the War Room that there are things you must do. You must complete tasks to succeed and to survive. If you do not survive, you are kicked. Because I refuse to have cowardice around me. It's my organization. Everyone else in there, the thousands of men in there, think and act and work hard like I do. We're not having no holding on to coattails. That's what the War Room's about. The War Room's about that bravery and that male competition. It's impossible to be in a highly competitive environment and massively fail like most of these dudes are failing. I'm telling you now, I have zero sympathy for most of you guys because the lives you live are the lives you have built for yourselves. You've built it for yourself from head to toe. That is the most basic imperative of the masculine frame, which has been destroyed in real time. They are trying to convince you that you should act how you feel. You should show more of your feelings. If you feel this way, you should show it. If you want to cry, cry. Look, I have no problem with guys crying. Sometimes guys cry, right? My dad died, I cry. I've cried once in 10 years, but it's not a default emotion for me. Sometimes you cry, right? But what I'm saying is the reason they're trying to bring out emotionality in you is because of exactly what Myron said. Most of the time, you don't feel like doing the things you're supposed to do. But the true masculine frame throughout history was doing the things they didn't want to do, but they knew they had to do because they had honor and duty. That's what honor and duty means. Do you think the men on the Titanic wanted to stay on the Titanic? No, we're men. We have to stay. We're scared, but we must. It's our duty to let the women and children on the lifeboats. Yeah. This is masculine duty. When you remove self-control from men, you get, not only do you get emasculated weak men, but what you also get is very dangerous men. Because the world at large is trying to tell you, just be more in touch with your feelings and everything's gonna be fine. Men also have an innate desire, one, for conquest, and two, we have a biological response. We are very predispositioned to anger. You look at all these schools, these are men who can't control their emotions. That's all they are.
Facts.
They have no self-control. And then they go into danger. A good man controls himself. Emotional control is absolutely and utterly important as a man. Now, I'm not saying become a stoic dork, have no personality, be a boring. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you need to understand as a man, there are certain principles under which you act, regardless of how you feel.
Bam.
I can wake up in a terrible mood. Nice. I can wake up sad. I can ache. I can have a busy day, stressed, etc. I will complete the same tasks as if I woke up in a fantastic mood. I'll do the same things because how I feel has no bearing on the things I'm going to do with my day because I have duty to myself and to my bloodline. So a lot of you guys out here are acting like fools because you feel like acting like fools. And what I'm going to say to you is, because you think there's something wrong with you, you go, well, I lack motivation. You hear this one? I don't have the motivation to go to the gym. Well, here's the news flash. Neither did I. And I still did it. So now what are you going to say? Now you have no excuse, right? Oh, you're scared to get in the ring. So was I. I still did it. Scared to get in the cage. So was I. I still did it. Being a man isn't about not feeling things. It's about acting the way you're supposed to act, regardless of how you feel. This once again ties into your network, the people around you, everyone else around you. When you say you feel a certain way, if they don't check you, then why are you hanging around with them? If you're gonna sit there and go, I feel sad, and your friends are gonna go, oh, bro, you feel sad, man? Sorry to hear that, bro. It's hard to be sad, bro. You're sad, bro? Oh, we're sad too, bro. I was sad last week. What's wrong with you? There is no weakness in my circle. You need to create your reality. You gotta keep this in mind. I'm tired of hearing guys messing about how they feel. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel. Feel. Leave the feelings to the girls, right? That's what they do. We act. We're men of action. We get things done. So the world got built. All of it. All the men who built skyscrapers felt scared. They did it anyway. You need to become a man of action. Stop worrying about how you feel and start worrying about what you're supposed to be doing. How about that?